Hey everyone, welcome to the Cancast show. ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਆ। ਅੱਜ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਸਚਿਨ ਲਾਟੀ ਨਾਲ, ਜੋ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਟ੍ਰੇਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਫਾਸਟੈਸਟ ਰਨ ਅਕ੍ਰੋਸ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਫॉर 2025 ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਮੋਟੀਵੇਸ਼ਨਲ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਆ। ਫਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਆ ਜੋ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ। Please support him. I am mentioning his account in description. Do follow him and watch the full podcast. This is Cancast by Sohang Rajput. Thank you. ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੋਟੀਵੇਸ਼ਨਲ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਈਜ਼ੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਨਾ। ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਫੀਲ ਕਰਦਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਮੈਂ ਜਿਮ ਲਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਰੋਜ਼, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਹਾਰਡ ਲੱਗਦਾ। ਮੇਰੇ ਲਈ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਈਜ਼ੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਮ ਲਾਣਾ ਰੋਜ਼। ਵਧੀਆ ਬੰਦੇ ਮੈਂਟਲ ਸਟੇਟ ਵਧੀਆ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ।
It's true. I think it's
ਤੇ
because
ਰਨਿੰਗ ਮੈਂ ਬਚਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਾਰਡੀਓ ਤੋਂ, ਮਤਲਬ ਉਹ ਬੋਰਿੰਗ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਮੈਨੂੰ, ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਔਖਾ ਹੈ ਬਹੁਤ। When you go to the gym after 12 reps you are sitting and watching everything, right?
So the question is,
Yes.
why are you going to the gym? Because I think you have to identify the reason why you're doing that activity.
Yeah.
Because you can do this thing, this thing, this thing. If you're not doing it for any reason, then
You won't do it.
there's no
You won't.
purpose.
Yeah.
So for you, there's no reason for you to run.
Yes.
If you have a reason, and if you find a reason to run, you'll find a way to make it entertaining. Or if it's not entertaining, you'll still do it anyways.
Yeah.
Because the reason behind it is important.
What is your reason behind it?
My reason is twofold. One reason is to find myself better, so make myself a better person, to find how far I can go, what I can possibly do,
Mean your capability?
my capability, what's the most I can do,
Okay.
and also for other people around me to become a better person for them so that they can be better people.
Motivate them.
Yeah, so for me, it's more of raise money and awareness for specific causes,
Yeah.
and then try to inspire other people, because I'm not special.
Yes.
I'm like anyone else. So if I can do some of these things, anyone can do it. So it's all comes down to the reason and why you're doing it.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ਆਪਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ।
To you.
You were in police, right?
Yeah, I was.
Services.
Yeah, 18 years. Yeah.
Yeah, 18 years. After that, you retired or you just leave the job?
No, I'm still technically with them.
Okay.
I'm transitioning out. So 18 years is a long time.
Okay.
So I invested a lot of time there. So I don't want to just leave immediately.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of leaving. So I think in the next 6-7 months, I'll be able to create enough of an income for myself
ਪਰ
outside.
ਕਿਉਂ ਚੇਂਜ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ?
Good question.
Yeah. ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੈ, ਮਤਲਬ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ every day you have different challenges.
Different challenges,
Right.
good pay,
Yes.
pension,
Yes.
benefits, government jobs, all amazing things.
And Indians like it.
Especially for the community.
Yeah.
Right. Amazing. But again, what's the reason to do that job? If I was doing it, what's the purpose?
For 18 years, what was the purpose?
For me, it was a paycheck
Okay.
to pension,
Okay.
benefits. That's
And
not
you were liking it?
that's not enough for me to live my whole life. I don't want to chase money. Right? So for me, that's all it was. So I go to, now if you think of it this way, to do that job, say 30 years, every single day,
Yeah.
do the same thing. Like in 5-10 years, I've done everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for another 20 years, do the same thing, not learning anything new, not developing further, just being the same person over and over and over again. For me, for stability and money, it was good. But for life satisfaction, it was terrible for me. So I wanted to find something more meaningful for me. I'm not saying anyone else,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
it wasn't meaningful enough. I needed more. I needed to do more service, more pushing myself. And that wasn't doing it.
After how many years you figured out that you have to change this? And how many years it took to change that?
I changed by accident.
Okay.
I didn't even, I was dealing with my own problems.
Okay.
So what happened was 4 years ago,
Yes.
I was going through divorce. Okay.
Okay.
So through that process, I was not feeling good, obviously.
Yes.
And I wasn't the best husband. So I was also to blame.
Oh, okay.
So there was many reasons
Yeah.
why I was like, oh man, I felt
Then we blame ourselves,
Yeah.
and it's more, we feel more regret, right?
yeah, and I felt I didn't feel good, right? So that's what started the process. Then I started thinking, okay, my home life wasn't very good. So then I started focusing on work. And then I was doing a lot of work, and then work life started becoming stressful and it wasn't pleasant. So pretty much all of the things in my life were going down. Everything was going into the ditch. And I then started having some problems mentally. I was starting to have depression. And then I was a lot of anxiety. So when I say depression, what I'm talking is like, and this was during the pandemic too.
Okay, COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Okay.
So again, isolated.
Yes.
So for me, depression is basically an overwhelming sense of loneliness, isolation,
Yes.
disillusionment, no purpose. So why am I getting up in the morning?
Yeah.
Why am I going to work? What's the point?
Yeah.
That's what was going through my head, right? So that wasn't good. So then I started getting even worse and worse, really bad. So I go see the doctor. So I went to see the doctor, and then he said, you have depression and anxiety. That I've always had it, but I never,
You figured out.
I found out at this age that I had it. So then I got some medication.
Okay.
So then I got medication, and then I was like, okay, my life is in the ditch, right? I got to figure out how to fix my life.
Some people don't want to fix that. At least you thought that you want to fix this, right?
Well, I did because I grew up in a good family too, right? So I saw people that were doing good things. So for me, I felt like a loser, I felt like someone who wasn't doing what I should be doing.
Right.
And I was doing things, even when I was married, before I was married, I was doing a lot of stupid stuff, partying, drinking, all the kind of stuff. I know, like all the things,
Yeah.
right? So, and I knew in myself that I wasn't a bad person. I just didn't know why I was doing stupid things. So that's what it started everything. I wanted to understand myself better. And then I started reading books, and I never read books much before, but I started reading more books, listening to podcasts. And then I started thinking, I read this one book, two books. I read Extreme Ownership, a book by Jocko Willink. It basically talks about anything that happens in your life, it's your problem.
Right.
You've created everything, so solve it yourself, essentially.
Yeah.
And the other book was Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins' book. And I read the first couple chapters of that book and of Can't Hurt Me. And the underlying theme out of that book, to me, was chase adversity or do hard things. Right? So I was like, okay, TK. For me, running was hard. I'm 45 now. When I started running, I was 42. I hadn't ran since I was 18. I didn't run since I was 18 years old. So it was basically 30 years ago.
Yeah.
30 years. And so then I said, okay, let me start running.
So how did you thought about running? David Goggins?
That's what, no, I just started reading that book.
Okay. From the book, you got the idea. Right?
I got the idea because the underlying theme of that book to me was do hard things. And for me, immediately I thought, oh, well, running's hard. I don't like running. So let me do this.
Everybody hates running.
Everyone hates it.
Yeah.
So then I said, okay, let me do this. And then I started running. And that's what started the whole process of me running. I started from the bottom, terrible at running. How we were talking earlier, how you were feeling. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That was me 2.5 years ago.
And did you thought at that time that you will raise awareness with that?
Nothing, man. I was trying to stay alive. I was that messed up. I was so depressed and I was in the ditch.
You were just fixing your
I was trying to fix my brain, man. It had nothing to do with anything. Like I didn't think I would be on a podcast.
Right.
I didn't think, honestly, I didn't think any of this.
Yeah, your life is going to...
My life is going to the ditch. I'm thinking about a podcast in Toronto. Bus cut, man. What are you talking about? Right? Yeah. So for me, it was like, no, I was alone. No one and my friends and nobody, just alone by myself. Yeah. And I started running. And then fortunately for me, I did bodybuilding and I did jiu-jitsu and had an understanding of discipline.
Side by side.
Yeah. And I understood how to plan things and stick to a plan. Because my point is a lot of people have plans and ideas.
Right.
And people make them.
Yes.
But they forget the next step.
Yes.
Action.
Yeah. Right.
So I take action every time. So I started running, and then it was terrible, man. I was in pain all the time. Every 5 kilometer run,
Yeah, joints.
everything, man.
I started
I couldn't breathe.
last month. My joints started paying. Yeah,
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Your joints pain. Did you try to figure out what the issue was?
I stopped running.
No, perfect. No, awesome. That's what everyone does.
Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah,
I was feeling the pain. I was like, what the hell is this pain?
Yeah, right.
I started researching it.
yeah.
And then I started finding solutions to fix it.
Yeah.
Stretching is important. Mechanics are important. How you run. Nutrition's important. Everything is important if you're going to do something to the best of your ability.
Right.
Right? If you're going to do it just all night,
Like in
then what's the point?
bodybuilding, also diets matter more than.
It's everything. So your sleep's important. When you train, you're important. What you have before you train is important. What you have after you train is important. All your supplementations, everything's important.
Right.
If you want to do it well. If you don't care, then fine.
Yeah.
But if you care, and I care, everything that I do, I want to do the best.
But I feel if you are spending your 2 hours in the gym and you are not doing and you are not building anything, it doesn't work. It's waste of time.
Absolutely. So why are you going to
spend
the
your
gym?
2 hours in something else?
Yeah.
In your business or something like that.
For sure. So if you're going to do it, at least get some results.
Yeah.
Don't just go and have no results. Otherwise, you're right. Do something else.
Yes.
Why waste your time?
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of what I did. Any sort of issue that came up, I would research it and then continue. And then by doing that over a few months, I pushed myself and I was like, okay, because I always set goals, right? I set goals
If
very
you don't
regular.
have goal, you will stop. Right?
There's
If
always
you don't
a
have
goal.
purpose, you
Yeah,
will stop.
there's always has to be a goal.
Yeah.
All the time. So even then I set goals. So I said, okay, maybe within about 4 or 5 months, I said, okay, I want to run 21 kilometers. I want to
21 kilometers.
21. I want to say, okay, I want to try to do 21.
Without rest?
Yeah, just go.
Oh, okay.
So I tried to do that, and I was still working everything, 10-hour shifts. So what I did that day was, it was in October of 2020. Yeah, October of 2020. I was still living, so I got divorced, right?
Yeah.
And we had a house. During the pandemic, I moved into the basement suite of the house we bought together, so that, people wouldn't just squat, it would be nice and safe and everything. But I was still living in the basement of the house of my ex-wife. So I'm paying rent and all this stuff. So I wasn't feeling amazing, as you can imagine.
yes.
And I'm sure she wasn't feeling that great either.
Yeah.
But having said that, so I finished a 10-hour shift and I went to work out. So I lifted, and then I came home and I wasn't feeling good. I was like, man, my life sucks. My life is shit.
Everyone feels that.
Like I was just like, my life sucks. So I came home, I wasn't feeling very good. And I was like, fuck this, man. I'm going to go for a run. So I got my shoes, I put them on, and I just went out for 3 hours. And I went for a run. And I ran about 21 kilometers in the rain in about 5 degrees Celsius. The weather was garbage. And I went out, I did it anyways. I didn't let anything stop me. And it was painful. I was still wearing those old shoes, right? And, but after I ran those 21 kilometers, I felt pretty good. And I'll explain why. Never in a million years, you could have told me that I would be able to run 21 kilometers. I was a bodybuilder, man. I was 215 pounds jacked. I wasn't running.
Yeah. 31 kilometers is a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
so for me, I was like,
It's like a marathon, mini marathon.
yeah, it's a half marathon.
Yeah.
So when I did that, I was like, it made me feel good. No one told me to do it. No one forced me to do it. I got up and did it all on my own. So that gave me a bit of confidence.
Right.
So then that made me feel good. I was like, oh, let me do more. So then I kept training, kept scheduling things. And then I kept kind of pushing with it. And then in February of 2021, I heard a podcast. And I heard, it was a Joe Rogan podcast.
Okay.
And, Cameron Haynes.
Okay.
So for your listeners, Cameron Haynes is an ultra endurance athlete.
Yes.
He's in his 50s.
Yeah.
He's a bow hunter. And he runs ultra marathons. And an ultra marathon is 50 kilometers or more in one run. So he would run 100 miles or 200-mile races. So when I heard that, I was like, what?
100 miles.
100 miles or 200 miles. So there's one called the Moab 240. It's 240 miles in the desert, 3 days.
David Goggins also ran that?
Yeah, David Goggins has done it. Lots of people have done it. Lots of people. So here's a little secret that I didn't know. There are tons of people that do this. Like
Tons of
millions of people. Like so
40 miles. 3
lots
days.
of people. Lots of people.
3 days.
Lots of people.
And they take a rest in between or no?
So, I mean, the best of the best probably just continue moving, but there's over hundreds of people in this race. So you have people that will take their time, but there are cutoffs. So if you don't finish within this time, then you're out.
Oh,
So you have to do it within a certain time frame.
within 3 days, right?
I'm not sure what the exact time, but there is a time frame that you have to do it in. But people people have done it in 60 hours, 50 hours, 67 hours, like very long distances, like for that time frame. But anyway, so I heard him talking about this, and I didn't know this world existed. For me, I was like, I didn't know people like this were here.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy shit, man, like that's crazy. So then he started talking about when he's training for a 200-mile race, what he does. He would run a marathon a day to train for a 200-mile race. So a marathon is 42 kilometers.
Right.
So and he would work full time. He would get up in the morning, run 21 kilometers, go to work, and after work, run another 21. When I heard that, I was like, okay, that's pretty awesome.
Right.
And I was like, I want to do that.
Because it will take 2 to 3 hours to run 21 kilometers.
Yeah. And then go to work.
Right.
And then
come
after work,
back
do it again.
Then do it again.
So that's like a whole different level of mindset.
And eating diet also.
Everything. So for me, I don't care about the body. I know I'm an athlete.
Right.
Like I don't care about that. I don't care about lifting. I don't care about what I care about is the brain. Mentally, what's possible. So that's what surprised me. I was like, how does someone run a marathon a day? Like you run 5K, you're like, what the hell?
No, I can't run 5.
But you know, I'm just trying to put a comparison.
Yeah.
42 every single day. So for me, I heard that, I was like, okay, man, I want to do something like that. That's freaking cool. So I was curious. I got curious, and then I started doing more research, and then I started diving even deeper into this world. And then I kept training, and I kept running, and then I started seeing some progress. I started seeing I was doing okay.
You find a purpose.
I started to find a bit of a purpose, a little bit.
Yeah.
It was like the way I feel now, entirely different than I did then. I'm a different human now. Like I'm a different person today than I was then. So when I started, so in the summer of 2021, I was like, you know what, since I'm kind of doing okay, I should do something positive here to help others.
Right.
So I said, okay, let me run 100 kilometers. I'll run from Chilliwack, it's a town in British Columbia, to the Vancouver airport. It's 100 kilometers. And I'll raise money for a charity that supports veterans and first responders. So I ran on November 7th, 2021, I ran from Chilliwack to YVR and raised $21,000 for the charity in that day by running that 100 kilometers. And it was just under 15 hours I ran it. So then after I did that, I was like, oh man, it was exhausting. It was tiring. It was probably one of the hardest things that I ever done. But after I had done it, I couldn't believe I'd done it.
I saw a lot of videos of David Goggins, right? What did you learn from him? As you read his book, obviously you have watched the videos too, right?
So, you know, I've watched a lot of his videos. I've read his book now. I've actually finished it. So what I've learned from him is it's continuous almost. So when I first heard him, I didn't understand. Now that I've done all the things that I've done, I understand what he's saying.
Yeah. Don't have like motivation. He's too much disciplined. More than a normal human being, right?
So I think motivation's a feeling, right?
Yes. For some time.
Happiness is a feeling. Sadness is a feeling. They all these feelings, they come and go.
Right.
You know what doesn't? Discipline.
Right.
Discipline never disappears because it's not a feeling. It's a way of life. It's what you do. So you might think David Goggins is, too disciplined. But when you go to a Gurdwara or Mandir, when these people are so disciplined on what they do every single day, what's the difference?
Right.
There's no difference. They're applying the discipline differently.
Right.
In a different department. David Goggins, what you see, he's applying it from a physical capacity. It's different. And the purpose behind the discipline is different. Now, I understand what he's doing. He's trying to build his mind. So when you do very difficult things, your mind is getting developed, not your body. People think it's this. Your brain is getting developed because you're creating mental capacity. You're actually creating it.
Right.
You're creating new neural pathways because when you're running for 6, 7, 8 hours, your brain is thinking and trying to figure out how to do things. Right. You're actually developing your brain.
Right.
And during that process, you've created resilience. So what is resilience? The ability to get back up when you get knocked down. So when life knocks you out,
When you don't want to wake up, still wake up
exactly.
and go to work.
When your wife leaves you or your brother passes away,
Right.
those things you can get up a little bit easier. That's why you do it. You don't do it to look good.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah, right.
You do it so you can survive life over a period of time and inspire others.
Right. He's not building his body, he's building his mind.
And he's also trying to tell everyone that's how you do it.
Right.
He's been doing this for 25 years.
Right.
He's only been popular for 5.
Yeah.
He was doing it in silence for 20. So the purpose behind it is to show people the way to do it. But I think, and I was one of them, I didn't understand it until I started doing it. And it's now that I've started pushing myself to an extreme level, I'm like, oh, okay, I understand. I get it because I can see the change.
You build your mind strong.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
what's the alternative? What's the alternative if you don't? You live a weak, scared, timid life that you're not happy with? Screw that, man.
Right.
Forget that. I want to enjoy life. I want to experience life. I don't want to tolerate it. I don't want to endure it. I want to enjoy it, man. And to enjoy it, you have to be part of it. To enjoy it, you have to be present. To enjoy it, you have to live in it. Like actually do things in it, not be focused on BS and all the BS that people talk about.
Right. Why God made us to struggle and learn from them, right?
Absolutely, man. And to learn from each other. Like, I'm not here to learn from you. I'm not here to teach you and you're not here to learn from me. We're here to engage with each other
Right.
and have a synergistic benefit between the both of us. So I'm getting just as much out of this conversation as you might be.
Right.
And just as anyone else might be listening to it. It's just as good for me.
Right.
So for me, I think of things like that now. I don't think of it like, oh, I'm here to talk to you guys and you're going to listen to me.
Right.
And I don't think like that, man.
Right.
I'm here to get as much from you
Right.
as whatever I might share.
Right.
So it's mutually beneficial.
Right.
And that's, at least for me, a way better way of doing things.
So now your running is your habit.
So next year, I'm planning to run from Thunder Bay to Victoria, which is 3,100 kilometers. And the plan for that is to run 60 kilometers a day for 52 days across the provinces. And then ultimately, my final plan is to run across Canada in 2025. So in April 12th, 2025, I'm going to run from St. John's, Newfoundland, all the way to Victoria. And the plan is to try to break the record for the fastest run across Canada. So the current record to do that is 7,300 kilometers in 67 days, 10 hours. For me to beat the record, I have to run 7,300 kilometers in 66 days, which is about 107 kilometers every single day for 66 days. Now, that sounds all crazy and
No.
maybe people don't understand what that even means.
That guy did it.
Yeah.
If someone already made the record, you
100
can break the record.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Sorry, let me clarify what I meant by that. Sounds crazy. But so I suspect people who might be listening to it don't quite understand how far that is and how challenging that would be. So to run 107 kilometers every single day across the country is the equivalent of also climbing Mount Everest 8 times. Because the elevation gain of all the mountains and coming back down.
Right.
So you got to include that too. But also, I'll be the first person that looks like us to have ever done it. Like there hasn't been any Indian person, Punjabi or forget anything else, that's run across the country, forget about a record. So this is so for me, part of the reason why I wanted to connect with you and I'm starting to connect with more of our community is to let them know what's going on. Because our community isn't paying attention. And it's pretty pathetic, to be honest.
Right.
And we all talk about Seva and being this, that, and the other. But I'm trying to share something with people. And it seems like
To
mostly...
become healthy.
Yeah, and also it seems like mostly Gore are paying attention to this. And I'm advocating for our community because our community suffers just as much as anyone else with mental health problems.
Right.
How many people do you know that are drinking every single day or drugs or all kinds of stuff?
A lot.
Tons of people, man.
Yeah.
So I think our community needs to hear about what we're doing because it's not about me. It's about uplifting as many people as possible, showing others what's possible and showing others, look, I was just as messed up as anyone else who's I was drinking all the time, partying, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Right.
But there's always a way to do things better. And I think it's a shame that our community hasn't really picked up on what we're trying to do here. And I'm hopeful that we can get more people aware of this, because I know our community is awesome. Our community loves this kind of stuff. And once they hear about this, I'm sure every Gurdwara, temple, mosque across the country will want to do something.
Right.
And that's the point. The point isn't about, okay, run this. The point is to change the country, impact the entire country, raise millions of dollars. I'm trying to run in the footsteps of Terry Fox, right?
Right.
Terry Fox is considered an icon in this country. They have statues of him in this country.
Right.
He died 40 years ago from cancer, right? In 40 years, since he's been dead, over $1 billion has been raised in cancer research. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about fucking running. I'm talking about how do we help people? How do we impact more people? How do we maximize this for as many people as possible? So that's part of the reason why I wanted to come say hi.
Right. And as a man, ਸਾਡੀ ਕੀ responsibilities ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਹਿਸਾਬ ਨਾਲ?
It's a good question again.
Tricky questions.
No, it's not tricky. It's a good one. And it's important. Our responsibility, you have to be strong enough to be able to do something.
Yeah, God gave us the capability
Yeah.
to grow our strength, right?
Yeah. Right. I know people who don't have legs that are doing way more than I'm doing.
Right.
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 Or don't have arms and legs.
Right.
We can do so much. I've only been working for 2 years in what I'm doing. And look what I've done in 2 years. It's nothing. Give me 8 more. Watch what happens. 8 more years. Watch what happens. Because in 2 years, I've gone from not running at all to being able to run 22 marathons in a row and raising over $50,000 for charity. And I'm just getting started. I've done over 100 different podcasts across North America, been on national news. I'm not trying to brag or say, I'm trying to say in a short period of time.
Yeah, in just 2 years.
Look what's happened. What did Sidhu do in 5?
Yeah.
It took 2 years for him to really crush anything.
Right.
But after 5 years, look what he did. It's because it was honest. It was real stuff. He was doing like from the heart, doing real music from him.
Right.
Genuine, right?
Right.
You can say whatever you want about the type of music, whatever.
Right.
But it was honest and genuine.
Right.
So if something's honest and genuine, you work your ass off, the odds are that it's going to be something. I mean, you can look at anyone who's done anything. Most people, if they go all in, give it their 100% effort, and if they do it with honesty and hard work, it always blows up.
Right.
Always.
Right.
The thing is, people have difficulty finding what that thing is for them to do. That's the difficulty.
Right.
Once you find it, man, it's a wrap. And I think people, get confused, especially our community, because our parents are telling, oh, doctor, bun, engineer, do this, all these things. Yes. It's good for some people, but you can't have the entire population as a doctor or engineer or lawyer. People are different. So whatever calls you, whatever you feel organically drawn to, man, do it.
One question I have, sorry to ask you, it's like a personal, but you don't feel alone, as you told you have divorced before. So partner ਦੀ ਕਮੀ ਜੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਇੱਕ, ਤੁਸੀਂ alone ਨਹੀਂ feel ਕਰਦੇ? How do you overcome with that?
So I think if someone's going to be in a relationship,
Right.
it's important to understand who you are first, right?
Right.
So now, have I dated? Yeah, of course. But this might sound interesting. Okay, I'll explain. So 3 years ago, there were a lot of things that I wasn't very good at.
Right.
And I wanted to improve a lot of them. I wasn't a good guy when it came to talking to women. I acted a certain way and spoke a certain way, and and maybe didn't engage in the way that they would have
Same
wanted.
what I did 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
So what I started doing since then was started trying to think of ways to be better at that. So not just running, I apply a growth mindset to everything. So everything that I try to do, I try to improve on everything. So even my coffee every day, I try to make my coffee better every single day. Everything. Anything that I like, that I enjoy, I'm trying to get better at. So if I'm dating someone, I'm trying to understand myself better so I can be better in that relationship. So for a couple years, that's what I was doing. Not reflecting back, That's what I was doing. In the moment, I didn't think that. I'm just like, oh, I'm just kind of dating, whatever. Right. Right? Yes. But now that I've seen that, I'm like, oh, okay, I understand a few things differently now. Because you have to reflect. You have to look back every now and then to understand why you did it.
That's how you will learn.
Exactly.
Same, I was not respectful. And I feel like I did a lot of mistakes. And I found that I did mistakes. Then I learned from that. Then I change everything.
That's the point, right?
And it helps me a lot.
Good. Yeah, I think it's important to look back every now and then, understand, or not understand, but at least look at where things didn't go well.
We have done.
Let's change the words though. Let's see where we could have done better.
Yes.
Right? Because I think words do matter.
Yeah. In the moment, I think so. Everyone thinks like we are doing right.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe today we are doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But in our mind, we are doing right. After 2 years, we will think and look back. Then we will figure it out. No, that was not right.
You know why? Because we're always growing. Every single day we're growing. We should be. Every single day you should be different. So for example, what I'm trying to say, today, if you looked at yourself a year ago, you should look at that person and go, that guy's an idiot. Yeah. Every year you should say, look back, oh, that guy's an idiot. Yeah. He's such a crappy version of myself. Yeah. Every year, that's how much you should improve. And if you're not, okay, cool, I will. And I think anybody else who's trying to be better should. You can never improve anything if you don't reflect back on it and think about it. So, and that goes with everything. If you're in the gym, trying to get stronger on bench press, you're going to look back at what your training was to see if you're not improving. Why am I not improving? Am I not eating enough? Am I not sleeping enough? Am I not having supplementation? Am I not pushing myself? Everything is the same. Right. No matter what you look at it, it's the same formula for everything. Right. So,
and even in building muscle, there is a pain. So everything you do in your life, you have to suffer with the pain to fix it up.
Absolutely, man. No, that's a good analogy because you're ripping your muscles.
Yeah, ripping your muscle, then
now you got to heal.
Tissues will be recovered and then it will be right. And same thing, you will look back. Obviously, there is a pain that you are saying to yourself that I was not a good guy at the back time, right? Yeah.
And I think the further ahead I go, I can probably be even more honest.
Yes.
Because like now I'm like, I wasn't great, but I'm sure 5 years from now, I'll say something different, but maybe more precisely, right? Maybe more openly, right? But no, man, I think it's important to look back and always try to keep moving forward, like in the sense of always trying to improve. At least that's what I'm trying to do now. Everything that I try to do. And I did that with my dating relationship. So to answer your question, I'm dating someone now because I feel like I'm in a better place to do it. I didn't want to rush into anything. After getting, being married and realizing I wasn't a good husband, well, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to screw up my life. I want to do it better. Right. So that takes time. You don't do it overnight. To correct things and to improve things and to get really exceptional at things takes 20 years.
And खुशी होती है कि मैं सही हूँ, मैं चेंज हो गया, मैं उधर दी गलतियां दोबारा नहीं कर रहा जो मैं कीतियां सी.
Yeah, and there's a level of peace, like relaxation, ease. So when I go at home, I'm not freaking out or feeling anxiety. Now I'm just okay. Let's watch some TV.
Yeah. What were the 3 mistakes you have done and now you have fixed? Because if I
used to lie a lot. I used to lie a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't lie now. So like lie in the sense that I wouldn't tell people the truth sometimes. Right. If it was better for me, I wouldn't tell them.
Even without reason, you don't say the truth, right?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, for example, a friend saying, hey, let's go do this tonight. I would, if I didn't want to go, I'd make up an excuse. Yeah. Still a lie. Yeah. Why can't I tell my friend, no, man, I don't feel like going out tonight? Right. So that I don't do anymore. I'm always honest. At least try my best to be honest. What's another thing? More compassionate with people. So before I would judge people very quickly. And now I try not to because I'm not a saint. I've done bad things. So for me to judge someone else, who am I? So I try to be more compassionate.
So it's in our blood.
It is, man. I'm trying, man.
We judge everyone.
You know what the funny thing, but what's one of the tenets in Sikhism is daya. What does that mean? Yeah. Compassion, right? Right. So how do we not be compassionate? So for me, I'm trying to be more compassionate. So I try not to lie to people. Yeah. Try to be more compassionate. Right. Another one that I wasn't doing before that I do now, Seva. Yeah. I wasn't doing Seva before. Yeah. Ever. Like I'll go to Gurdwara and then give a quarter when I was younger, right?
Right.
And that was it. And now it's my whole existence is Seva.
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean, I flew here. I paid my own self, because that's what I want to do. I wanted to come and attend this fundraiser in Peterborough with some people I've never met before. Never met them, just off of Instagram, kind of like what we're doing here. And went there and walked and rucked for 22 kilometers, and they raised $11,000. And then I spoke, and I just like, it was good, man. Like it's a good feeling.
Right. When you help someone, it's good.
Not even help. It's when you help someone, you're helping someone else. You're helping yourself.
Yeah.
There's a theory in quantum entanglement. It's a physics theory, quantum entanglement, and it's the concept that an atom, if you were to split an atom, if you take this half of the atom, leave it here, and you take the other half to Pluto, whatever happens to the one in Pluto will happen to this one here.
Okay.
So we are connected at an atomic level. So if something happens to you, that's happening to me. That's how I think. As soon as I became aware of that theory, I was like, oh man, that's pretty amazing that at an atomic level, things are still connected.
I mean, if we do bad things, then it will come back, or?
No, what that means is if I hurt you,
Yes.
I hurt me. If I help you, do seva for you, lift you up, make you feel better, I'll be better.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
If I do more seva and help as many people as possible, eventually I'll be better. It doesn't matter if we're looking at it from a financial people. Who cares about the money? That's one sort of way of looking at life. Money, peace, respect. There's like 100 different things you can look at, right? If most of them are checked off in the good department, if money isn't millions of dollars, who cares, man? It doesn't matter. If you're paying your bills and you have enough money to do what you want, and you're happy and you have peace,
And you are doing what you love to do.
then what more do you want? At least for me, I was doing okay before, working full time, making money, like I was doing all the things. I wasn't happy, man. I was borderline suicidal. I was not happy. I was depressed. Now I make no money and I'm happier than I've ever been in my life.
Because you are doing every day what you love to do.
Exactly. Same case for, let's say you, for example.
Yeah.
I suspect you do this maybe as a hobby, but maybe you don't know if this can be into something, or maybe you do. I don't know.
But I like what I...
But you like what you do. But now if you put everything into this, and how long have you guys been doing this?
From January.
Okay, you guys are already doing pretty good. If the numbers that I saw on your YouTube and stuff are accurate,
Thank
you guys are doing really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah. And kudos to you guys. That means you guys are doing something well.
Right.
Now imagine if you did all in and 100% effort was thinking about this nonstop every single day. That's what I've been doing for running. So, and imagine, like, this is what I'm trying to say to people.
Yeah.
What you're doing here is me running. It's the exact same thing. This is your passion. There's no reason why you can't make this the biggest podcast in whatever.
Yeah.
There's no reason you can't.
Yeah.
Because others have done
That's
this.
what I want to do. Our biggest podcast in South Asian community.
Good. Yeah. And you can. And if you put your energy into it and you think and you're smart and you do it the right way, absolutely you can. Right. You can't sit on your ass and have things happen. Yes. But having said that, if that's your goal, then do it. Don't get distracted by other things. Don't have, something else pull you away, because I promise you, if that happens, who knows what happens in 10, 20 years?
Yeah.
You might not feel the same.
Right.
And if this is giving you something that you're really happy about, man, I say do whatever you can to make it work.
Right.
Because this is an amazing thing. You get to speak to all kinds of people, man. Cool, man.
Amazing.
It's amazing. Like you get to talk to whoever you want. You get to talk to people that you want to talk to, right? And you get to learn something or share something and maybe help others learn something. So you're providing a service to people, right? And maybe whatever I say or someone else, that helps someone else. So you have a hand in actually helping people. So that's pretty awesome to think. So that's Seva, if you ask me. So I think, good for you,
That's what I thought, that I will only produce knowledgeable podcasts.
And what's your feedback? What's the feedback been for you guys?
The hours, I don't care about views.
Sure.
That's why every time I post the screenshot, I post for the hours.
So what's the difference then? I don't understand.
So I posted the 600
Sure,
hours
sure,
right
sure.
yesterday.
Yeah.
So I posted it Friday, the podcast, and in 36 hours it has been watched 600 hours.
Wow, the new one.
So yeah.
Wow.
So it's like our 1 hour podcast, right? So
600
600 people have watched in 36 hours in their TV or whatever it is.
That's awesome, man.
podcast.
So you know for sure they've sat and watched
Yeah.
it. So then how's the view work then? Is it different?
I don't follow the views.
Yeah,
You can
engagement's
buy
better.
the views.
Yeah,
too.
that's true. That's
You can't buy hours.
Right.
You can buy views. You
Good.
can't buy hours.
Good.
If someone click for 30 seconds, you will get 1 view.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
It's 1 hour podcast. If someone came for 30 seconds, what
It means
means
nothing.
it's not
nothing.
engaging, right?
No, yeah. Good for you, man. Like,
yeah, my max has gone to 10,000 hours. I'll show you after.
yeah, show me after, man. I want to watch that one.
10,000 hours in only 50,000 views.
So it's amazing.
Yeah, 10,000 hours in only 50,000 views.
So that one podcast was
One
watched
podcast?
10,000 hours.
Yes, 10,000, more than 10,000. It was 2 weeks ago, 10,000 hours.
Well, put a plug, man. Who was it?
Kamaldeep Kama Paji.
Oh, what's he?
He's a Mr. Australia also.
Oh, okay.
He was a bodybuilder.
Bodybuilder. Okay.
Yes. He has too many supplement store also. In British Columbia also, the Kama supplements.
Okay.
And here also.
Okay.
So that was also motivational podcast.
Mm.
Maybe that's why people like it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's for you to figure out.
Yeah.
You're the guy
So
who's...
that's my motive is I only see the hours.
Yeah.
And I'm producing something and they are learning from it.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
So what got you interested about what was it that on my platform that you saw that got you
You are
interested?
doing good for the community. That's the whole thing. Explain everything, right? We don't see person is popular or anything like that. We see what he's providing to the community.
You guys are smart with it too, man. I think it looks like you're understanding how to speak to your audience.
ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਵੀਡੀਓ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਕਾਰ ਡੀਲਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਦੇ ਓਨਰ ਆ ਨਵਾਪਾ ਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨਲ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਡੀਲਰਸ਼ਿਪ ਖੋਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਓਬਵੀਅਸਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨਲ ਚੀਜ਼ ਆ ਲੋਕੀ ਘੱਟ ਕੰਟਰੋਵਰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨਲ ਸਟੱਫ ਬਹੁਤ ਲਿਮਿਟਿਡ ਲੋਕੀ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਬਣੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਟਰੋਵਰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਉਹ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਏ
No, I think it's smart, man. Look, I'm glad you think this way. You know how long it takes to make an Olympic athlete?
No.
It takes about 10 to 15 years. You know how long it takes to make a Navy SEAL? Probably the similar amount of time. You know how long it takes to make anything exceptional? 10 years.
Right.
So if you go into anything that you do, 5 and 10 years, nothing less than that, and you stick to something for that long, it'll be a success.
Yes.
And then that's the cool part, man. We get to show people what's humanly possible in real time. It's not like 25 years later, like David Goggins is doing all the things. People can watch me become David Goggins.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, watch it happen. Because I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep doing all these things. I'm going to keep running. I'm going to keep doing as much as I possibly can.
Same I did. I used to drive truck. I couldn't.
Yeah. Good.
I was making around 120K a year in trucking. And everyone was saying that don't quit it. You are earning a lot of money. Who cares about money? Man, I'm not liking it.
Yeah.
I can't do this whole my life.
For 25 years, you imagine?
I can't drive truck.
Of course you're going to drink every
I
day.
want to build myself.
Yeah. You should always, once you've gotten to a certain point, leave. Do something new.
When you learn everything from there, leave.
Yeah.
And learn new things.
Why stay?
Yeah.
But my point is, what I'm trying to say is you shouldn't stay stagnant. If you're not learning, you're losing.
People are afraid to change.
And I think people are scared because of the uncertainty, of the unknown.
Yeah.
That's what they're scared of.
Yes.
Unknown. I thrive in
Will
it.
happen. Yeah.
So for me, like anyone else, I don't feel comfortable in the unknown. I'm scared just like everyone else, but I still do it. You don't think I was crapping myself when I started all this, man? I was freaking out. I couldn't sleep. Every single day when I started running like this, I would say to myself, you're crazy. For 23 and a half hours out of a day, every single day, nonstop, I'd say, you're an idiot, you're crazy. You're an idiot, you're crazy. But I would still do it. I would ignore the voice and I would still do it until I built the belief in myself to say, oh, that voice is gone now because I know I can do it. But that takes time and repeated consistency of effort over a period of time to be able to build that confidence in yourself to know, okay, I'll be all right. And that's why I run so much. That's the whole point.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing I have learned from one job, ਮੈਂ ਪੀਜ਼ਾ 'ਚ ਨਾ ਡਿਲੀਵਰੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਡਿਲੀਵਰੀ ਬॉय ਅਤੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਾਲਜ 'ਚ ਪੜ੍ਹਦਾ ਸੀ ਅਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਸੋ 30 ਮਿੰਟਸ 'ਚ ਯੂ ਹੈਵ ਟੂ ਡਿਲੀਵਰ ਦੀ ਪੀਜ਼ਾ ਔਰ ਇਟ ਇਜ਼ ਫ੍ਰੀ ਪੀਜ਼ਾ ਰਾਈਟ ਐਟ ਦੈਟ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਈ ਥਿੰਕ ਸੋ 30 ਮਿੰਟ ਆਈ ਫੋਰਗੋਟ ਦੀ ਟਾਈਮ ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਨਵਾਂ ਲੱਗਾ ਉਹ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਨਵੀਂ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸੀ ਮਸ਼ੀਨ ਪੇਮੈਂਟ ਲੈਣੀ 30 ਮਿੰਟਸ 'ਚ ਜਾਣਾ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਨਾ ਫੜ ਲੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਅਤੇ ਮੈਂ 2 ਦਿਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਕਨਫਿਊਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਯਾਰ ਇਹ ਕੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ ਪਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਜੋਬ ਇਹੀ ਜੋਬ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ 30 ਮਿੰਟਸ 'ਤੇ ਪੀਜ਼ਾ ਡਿਲੀਵਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਜੇ ਇਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਅਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਨਵਾਂ ਔਖਾ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਨਾ ਲੱਗੂਗਾ ਮੈਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਔਖਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਉਹ ਮਤਲਬ ਕਈ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਔਖੀਆਂ ਲੱਗਦੀਆਂ ਕਈਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੌਖੀਆਂ ਲੱਗਦੀਆਂ ਰਾਈਟ ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਉਹ ਅਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ ਲਾਈਫ 'ਚ ਲਿਟਰਲੀ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਨਵੀਂ ਚੀਜ਼ ਐਕਸਪਲੋਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਮੈਂ ਉਹੀ ਜੋਬ ਰਿਮੈਂਬਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਔਖਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੋਹੰਗ ਯਾਦ ਕਰ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਜੋਬ 'ਤੇ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆਈ ਸੀ ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ 2 ਦਿਨ 'ਚ 3 ਦਿਨ 'ਚ ਸਿੱਖ ਓਵਰਕਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਹੀ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਤੂੰ ਸਿੱਖ ਜਾਏਗਾ from that thing I learned a lot.
You know what, so that's resilience. That's what you've just described there is why when I run, let's say whenever I try to run 200 kilometers I can remember the thing that I did was hard the last time.
For me, to key of success for me, what I thought personally is patience and do your karma. But I feel ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੀ ਚੱਲੋ ਬਾਕੀ ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਹੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਘਰੇ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉੱਦਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਣ ਲੱਗਾ ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਚੰਗਾ ਕਰੀ ਚੱਲੋ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅਚੀਵ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਲੈਟਸ ਸੇ $10,000 ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਮਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਪਰ ਮੰਥ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਜੂਗਾ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦਾ ਲਾਈਫ 'ਚ ਇਲਨ ਮਸਕ ਵਰਲਡਸ ਰਿਚੈਸਟ ਮੈਨ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਆਲਸੋ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਸਮ ਸਟਰਗਲ ਐਵਰੀ ਡੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਕੁਝ ਸਟਰਗਲ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਸਟ੍ਰੈਸ ਹੋਣਾ ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਕੁਛ
Bro, man, I just saw him on Joe Rogan's podcast. That guy works nonstop every single day. He barely maybe sleeps 4 hours every night. He's constantly thinking about all the things. He's got like 4 different corporations that he's running. Like, what's it? SpaceX. He's got Tesla. He's got like. And he's got I think he's got one more company like all 4 of them and he's thinking about other ventures. It's like man,
human being एक मशीनरी है ये वर्क ਲਈ ਬਣਾਈ ਆ ਗੋਡ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ 9 to 5 'ਚ ਵਰਕ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਜਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਗੋਲ ਤੇ ਵਰਕ ਕਰ ਲਓ ਵਰਕ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੀ ਪੈਣਾ either way you have to work.
You're right.
Either way you have to go stressful, have to get stressful.
So here's a question, where's the confusion come? Why are people, because what you said is true. You work 9 to 5 or you work to what you want.
Yes.
Why are people not doing more of this one?
Because
what do you think?
Because they are afraid. That's what I told you. 9 to 5 they feel secure. We are getting $1,000 every week. No stress. But they don't think that way, that we are working for someone and after that we are getting $1,000.
Right.
Their mindset is different.
Right.
We are getting $1,000. We are paying our bills. We have no stress. That's what they think.
Right.
It's
a different stress, right? It's the stress that you're familiar with. You're used to it. Because when you go into school, you get the stress from the teacher. You go to university, you get the stress, or from your mother or your dad or whoever. There's always that parent figure. There's always that stressing figure. But when you take yourself out of the equation and now you're your own thing, no one tells you what to do.
Right.
You decide everything. So that responsibility and pressure is a bit more, I think. And I think, but for me, man, I'm at a place now where I don't want anyone telling me what to do. I just don't want it. Now, if someone's going to suggest something to you, that's fine. We'll have a conversation. But if someone says you should do this, okay, no. I already know what I'm doing.
बहुत बढ़िया लग गया था डिनर करके. Hopefully you feel the same way.
Honestly, this has been fun, man. I really enjoyed talking to you and sharing some ideas,
Yeah,
some
thank
thoughts,
you.
and also the protein drink with the badams.
Yeah. Milk shake.
Best, man.
ये मैं recently figured out की थी और मैं हर किसी ਨੂੰ ਆਹੀ ਪਿਆਨਾ ਹੈ.
No, it's awesome,
It's
man.
like in India we used to get yeah.
Does it taste like
cookie
that?
and cream, cookie and cream protein,
Right.
and dry fruits and cashew milk. Nothing is unhealthy, right?
No, it's
No
good.
sugar, no added, nothing.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And
No,
it's tastes wonderful.
I think it's good. I also wanted to say, I appreciate you reaching out to me. And
Thank you for coming.
No,
it was a pleasure. I learned a lot.
So did I.
Yeah.
I did.
nahi.
No, I did.
Sachin,
I did. No, honestly, man, for me, this is always a two-way thing. I don't want to come somewhere and not get something in return and give something also. So I want to thank you for that. And thank you for inviting me over.
Thank you. We will do a podcast again.
100%. Next time I come to Toronto.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
No, appreciate it.
I hope ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੋਡਕਾਸਟ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਹੋਊਗਾ. It was a very informational podcast and motivational podcast. Please support him. As a Indian, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਚਿਨ ਲਾਟੀ ਦੀ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇਹ ਫਸਟ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਆ, ਫਸਟ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ who is doing such thing for the community, right? And ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਜੋ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਇੰਨੀ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਤੋਂ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹ ਫੰਡਸ ਤੇ ਅਵੇਅਰਨੈਸ ਰੇਜ਼ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੈਟਰਨਸ ਆ, ਫਸਟ ਰਿਸਪੌਂਡਰਸ ਆ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮੈਂਟਲ ਹੈਲਥ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਇੰਜਰੀਜ਼ ਆ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਹੋ ਸਕੇ. ਸੋ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਸਪੋਰਟ ਹਿਮ. ਆਈ ਐਮ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨਿੰਗ ਹਿਜ਼ ਅਕਾਊਂਟ ਇਨ ਡਿਸਕ੍ਰਿਪਸ਼ਨ. Please do follow and subscribe to our page. This is Cancast by Sohang Rajput. Thank you. See you in a next podcast. Thank you.